Hi, everybody. We are live from New York City, right here in my home to you, the 121st live Monica Makes It Happen Facebook show. Thank you for joining us. I can't even believe we got this guest. We have Paul Wolf in the house. Let's say you're frustrated, you need a job. This is the man that can make it happen. He is the Senior Vice President of HR at Indeed.com, one of my favorite websites. I mean, you plug your dreams in, and then there it is, your dream jobs. But he can tell us, how do we execute this at a time of a pandemic when all of us are feeling kind of low, right, Paul? How are we going to do this? We're going to talk to him for at least minutes about get the juice of how to get a job right now. And then later in the show, we're going to talk to a CEO of a job company, which basically will tell you what 70 corporations are hiring right now. So you want to stay tuned to this show. But Paul, first, thank you for joining us. I don't know how we got you, but we got you. We got the big guy here. What kind of advice can you give to people now who are watching and they are desperately looking for a job and they feel hopeless and helpless?
Yeah. First, thanks for having me, Monica. I appreciate it. It's a tough time. It's a bizarre year. People's jobs have been impacted. People's lives have been impacted. And our mission statement at Indeed is we help people get jobs. And so our focus is helping everybody that's been impacted by this crazy pandemic to get back to work if they've lost their job. I think there are a couple simple tips. There's, setting up job alerts on Indeed.com. You can plug in the types of jobs you're looking for, the titles of jobs you're looking for, and you'll be notified each day with new jobs that are posted.
What a great idea. What a great idea. It goes right to your phone, right? Right to your phone.
It's a great reminder. Like, it just pops up. It reminds you. It's almost working for you in the background. And so that's a good way just to keep apprised of what's going on out there. I think the second one, and what we're seeing a lot now, is searching for remote jobs by including specific keywords. So work at home, telecommute, remote. We've seen a big pivot to remote work and flexibility in how people do their work with the beginning of the pandemic. And you can search for anything. On Indeed, you put in the what and the where. So what you're looking for. If you're looking for being a TV reporter in New York City, and it'll return the jobs. You can also just do an open search if you're looking for anything that's out there in New York and leave the what blank, and it'll return all the jobs that are posted in New York on Indeed at any given time.
That's a great way to stay focused, right? You can stay focused on what jobs you want, but it also open-ended enough where you're not cutting off potential new jobs.
Yeah, it gives you options. I think staying focused is good because you can hone your resume and your interview skills for those types of jobs. But if you really don't know, or you're new to the workforce, or you just want a complete change, like just opening up and doing we call a blind search in New York, it'll tell you everything that's open up in New York. And so, virtual interviews, this is the norm. I'm talking to a camera most of the day. This is what interviews look like for jobs now.
So awkward, isn't it? It's so awkward. But how do you find preparing for virtual interviews? Like, how do you do that? You just have to make sure you look good from here up, right?
You got to make sure you look good from the waist up most of the time. A lot of the prep is the same. You want to look at the job description. You want to know what company you're interviewing with. I always tell candidates and job seekers, have a few questions about the role or the company in your back pocket, because a good interviewer is typically going to ask you, are there any questions that you have or any more that you want to know? And I think that shows an interest and expresses kind of an interest in the role. With virtual interviewing, there are a couple of steps you need to go through. Test your technology. Make sure you've got a good internet connection. Make sure that your laptop or your computer is running okay. If you're lucky enough to have a door that you can close in the room that you're in so it's private and you're not interrupted, that's a good thing. If not, stick a note on your back saying I'm doing an interview, and making sure that somebody's not bothering you. And I always say, it's kind of like phone a friend. Check your computer connection and your video connection, your audio connection with a friend beforehand to make sure everything's working before you walk into that virtual interview. You want to be ready to sell yourself in that virtual interview.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then is there the virtual events? How do you find out about those? And actually, those coming up, but what about that?
You can search on our site for virtual hiring events. The one thing I did want to mention to your viewers is at the beginning of the year, we started virtual hiring events, and we've had over 1,250 employers host over 3,700 hiring events. And to those, as of August, we had 5 million job seekers RSVP to attend some of those events. The exciting thing is earlier this month on the West Coast of the US, we kicked off what we're calling Indeed's US Virtual Hiring Tour. And for this, our goal is to get 20,000 Americans back to work or to work. Free to the job seeker, free to the employer. The Northeast leg, which is specific to New York, is going to take place later in October, the 20th through the 23rd. Folks can start registering on October the 12th, and they can get more information at indeed.com/virtual hiring tour. So I think that's going to be really impactful. This is, virtual hiring started, it had been around for a while. The pandemic has pushed the button on this, and we've really embraced this. The other nice thing about
we
this—
have so many questions, Elle.
Yeah, we're getting a ton of questions. Absolutely. We're getting a ton of questions from our viewers. I wanted to call a couple of them up. So one of the questions came from Instagram from Absolutely Blessed. So at Absolutely Blessed said, I've tried switching industries for a few years now with no luck, even with the exact skills of what the job was looking for. How do you sell yourself to be able to switch industries?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great question. We hear it a lot. And I think it's about what are the transferable skills that you have and how do you package those for the other job. And so if you're an event planner, organizational skills, probably some budgeting skills and some other skills are going to be top of mind or things that you need to have for that. And if you want to go into a financial role, certainly organizational skills and budgeting skills are going to be important. So it's really looking at what the skills are that are transferable, looking at the job description and saying, okay, I've got these skills, even though my other job title was very different than this, and really kind of customizing your resume to focus on those skills that are important for the new job. Mm-hmm. Good luck in your search.
Absolutely.
Is it a good time? Is it a good time to switch industries? Most people would say, is a pandemic a good time to switch? I guess there's no good time to switch, right?
Yeah, there probably isn't. And is the pandemic good for anything, really? But yeah, look, I think there are lots of transferable skills that everybody has, unless you're going to be a lawyer. If you want to be a lawyer, you need to go get, your law degree and pass the bar. So unless it's something very specific, I think there's so many transferable skills that we all have that you just got to think about what's right for the new job and package your resume in the right way.
And just do it. And I love this next question, Al. I love this question because how many places do you think people should apply for daily? And I know some people are like, oh, I've applied for 6 jobs. Is that enough? What do you think?
I think it's dependent on you and what you're comfortable with. I think the one thing I would say if you're going to apply for a lot is you need to keep track of where you've applied and when you've applied and what job it was so that you can kind of keep all that straight in your mind. You can create a Google sheet and kind of track that. I think it really is about where are you going to be the best fit? Where are your skills the best fit in the job description rather than casting this really, really wide net? Let's do a really focused search about kind of the skills that you have and the jobs that are available and where those best fits are, and then apply for those jobs that are going to be probably most beneficial to you.
And last but not least, Al, right, our last question is, what are the best positions? This is the golden question to apply for right now. What's the best job to apply for right now?
Look, we've seen a pickup in hiring in a lot of industries. Certainly, jobs at grocery stores, retail stores, delivery companies, UPS, Amazon. We've all heard news reports about those picking up and then doing big swaths of hiring. So I think it's those types of jobs. But we've seen a pickup across a lot of industries. Early on, the hospitality industry was hit hard, and it's still the job postings are down in that sector, but they're starting to come back in certain places. So I think it's just taking a look at what's out there and what you're interested in.
Paul, I got so much from it, especially setting up the job alerts to your phone. Do that right now if you're watching, right?
Absolutely.
Action. It's all about action,
Yep.
And it's all about your attitude. I feel like you've taught us that we need to have that attitude, that win-win attitude, where we're applying and that we're actively following up, and we're setting up these new job alerts. And there's these remote conferences that I didn't even know about that you can also sign up for. And it's all on what? Indeed.com, right?
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us. And, don't go away. Don't go away because right now I went to this incredible job fair. Yes, there are job fairs that are happening in person and virtually. What does that look like? Take a look.
This parking lot here on Crotona Avenue was converted into a job fair. The focus is to help hundreds of people get jobs with extra precautions in place because of the pandemic.
I've been looking for about a year and a half now.
Robert Lester from the Bronx has his mask on and dozens of copies of his resume in hand. His hopes are high he will finally land a job.
I want to work. I need a job. I need to support myself.
Lester is not alone. He was one of hundreds that attended the VIP Vocational Instruction Project Community Services annual job fair. Organizers say it's one of the first job fairs in the Bronx since the pandemic started, offering interviews in person and online, with over 70 companies participating and ready to hire now. Employers included hospitals, restaurants, universities, and a range of corporations from Amazon to the Bronx Zoo.
We want to get back to the continuity, like the human connection.
Councilmember Vanessa Gibson says the Bronx got hit the hardest, first by COVID-19, now unemployment. According to the New York State Labor Department, the unemployment rate for July 2020 in New York City is 20%. That's compared to 4.3% the same month last year. The unemployment rate in the Bronx for July of 2020 is at 24.9%. That's the worst in the state.
It's quite desperate. A lot of people are out of jobs.
So all of those positions we are hiring for.
Calvin Parsons is the director of Children of Promise New York City, a nonprofit that helps children of formerly incarcerated people get social services.
We're hiring about 25 to 35 people for
25 to 35 people.
25 to 35 people for that location
Right now?
right now.
How hard has it been to find jobs right now during the pandemic?
Hard.
Derek Beasley from the Bronx says he lost his job because of COVID-19. He met with Parsons Tuesday.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, Derek Beasley.
Good. It's fist bump today.
Beasley hopes that this one-on-one moment will get him the job and change his life.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give you a call.
Thank you. Okay.
If you weren't able to be here, that's okay. There's still a lot of job opportunities online. Just go online and we'll link you directly to those opportunities. Just go to pix11.com/Monica. In the Bronx, Monica Morales, Pix 11 News.
Back out here. Guess who we have? We have Vivian Fletcher Blake, the CEO of VIP Services herself here, along with Paul Wolf, again, the Senior Vice President of HR at Indeed.com. Oh my God, so many questions for you, Vivian, especially since you're hyper-focused on the Bronx, but these are companies that are hiring nationally. We're talking about Amazon. We're talking about the Census Bureau. I didn't know that they're still hiring. Even if they pass these deadlines, they're still hiring. The unemployment rate, though, in the Bronx is 24.9%. That is a crisis. It is the highest in the state. And Vivian, you are that secret weapon of sorts that you've been so successful at placing people in jobs. Can you tell me what is the secret right now? What can you tell people that they can take away right now that'll help them find a job?
Well, thank you, Monica, for having me. There's no secret sauce during a pandemic, but there is definitely hope. There are jobs available. You can go to our website. We have a list of jobs from our job fair. We are also hiring, so please visit us at vipcommunityservices.org, and you will find jobs there.
Wait, did you say hiring too? You're hiring?
We are hiring. We're definitely hiring. We are hiring for several positions, from maintenance all the way to a medical provider, to a doctor.
What I noticed is you really have a range of connections, like 70 different corporations. Now, would you say right now is a good time to work for the federal government, the city, the state? I saw a lot of people hiring in government positions specifically. Maybe think outside the box is maybe what you're telling people who are watching at home who might be discouraged.
Well, the people should look for what they are qualified for, right? Look for what they need. There are jobs available. You heard from Paul earlier. Indeed has several jobs, a large number of jobs available there. Please do not get discouraged. There is hope. Yes, it's difficult during the pandemic, and you have to do things a little bit differently. You have to use virtual processes, virtual job fairs, the hybrid job fairs like we did. Virtual interviewing, you have to be a little bit more technology savvy than you were before, but don't lose hope, because you will find a job somewhere. It may take a little bit longer to find a job now, but there are maintenance positions. There are a lot of delivery positions available. The Census Bureau is hiring right through the year. New York State has been hiring for contact tracers. So please don't give up. Get your resumes ready. Have someone look at your resume just to make certain that it is in good order. And when you prepare for your job, be yourselves. And make sure that you are as professional as you can be. Dress well from waist up. Do not just take it for granted. Research the companies that you're interested in. It's very, very important. Even at job fairs, when you're coming out and you're bringing your resumes, just be certain that you research the companies that will be there, so you have some information for on-site interviews, and be ready. Always be ready, and don't give up hope.
Don't give up hope. And you're giving us hope, because what I learned from going to your job fair, which I didn't even know what a job fair would look like, and just telling people at home what it really looked like was what you saw in our story, which is kind of a hybrid, right?
Yeah, we had a hybrid.
It was virtual, but it was also in person.
Yeah, yes.
And there are wonderful job fairs and virtual events that you can join right online, and we'll have those resources. But again, your website is vipservices.org, and right now, 70 different pages right now where people can go and check out the job openings that are open right now. Which, contrary to popular belief, people are hiring now. One takeaway that you can tell someone watching that maybe will help them in the virtual world, what would you tell them?
Just be prepared. Be prepared, have your resume ready, and keep looking, keep searching. Use technology as your best friend, and keep scrolling and keep looking at different companies. Look for the jobs that you're interested in. Do your searches, and you will find. So,
and there's your website right there. I love that you said contact tracing, because that is one of the hottest searches on Indeed.com. So it's also hot. What you're hearing out there is the contact tracing jobs that are open right now. I know the city's hiring as we speak, right? Hundreds of people. Yeah. And again, Amazon was hiring, I remember, and the Bronx Zoo. The Bronx Zoo is hiring.
And a lot of nonprofits are hiring now. Healthcare is also hiring a lot of people, because we're doing COVID testing in communities. So we're looking for peer advocates also. A lot of places are looking for peer advocates. And we're busy. We're extremely busy working with our community partners. One resource that I want to leave with folks is your elected officials. They tend to have a list of available jobs and job openings. So please tap into that resources if you're listening. It's a wonderful way for you to connect with jobs as well.
So great. And thank you, Dibian. Again, the CEO of VIP Services. And oh, there you are, Paul. I like to end with just a little bit of hope. Paul, if you're still listening and you can still talk to us, will you give us 30 seconds of someone who's watching at home? You are the man. And actually, I think there was a viewer that wanted to work for you. But what would you tell someone who's just discouraged?
Indeed is hiring too, just so everybody knows. I think here's the hope. Companies are hiring. Devian said this as well. At Indeed, we're seeing over 500,000 jobs added each week in the US alone. So companies are hiring. It may not be the first company that you want to work for. It may not be the job you want, but really, if you want to get back to work, there are companies that are hiring, and you can do something to get back to work with the right skills that you have that match that job. And I think perseverance, like keep after it. I think a positive attitude does a lot in helping people get through this. Like we're kind of all in this together. So you can always go to Indeed.com and do your job search.
And my boss said that too. My boss said it's 98% attitude. Dibian, hope.
There are job training programs as well. So, that's an option if you're switching careers or you're looking for something and you don't think your skills are sharp enough. There are job training programs. We offer a job training program. We have vocational services here at VIP. So there's hope, there's support for you in many ways. So just take advantage of everything that's out there.
What a great way to end, because Dibian, you're right. Maybe go back to school and start learning some more skills to make yourself even more valuable to a team. But thank you so much, Paul, Dibian. I can't believe we got you guys tonight. So this will live forever. So if you've missed the beginning of it, go back and play it again and share it with someone who you think needs a job right now or needs a little bit of help, a little bit of encouragement. And we're wishing you all the best. Will you follow up with us at Pix11 and reach out to us on Facebook and let us know if this helped you? And continue to send us your stories. Watch us every night at 5 o'clock. We're making it happen.